So, hi guys. The A7R4 arrived today. Absolutely blown away by the thing so far. But there's one concern: are those Samyang lenses any good? I've got two of them: the 35mm f1.4 and the 14mm f2.8. Both autofocus versions. Really love them on the A7R3, and yeah, so I thought, well, I need to try them out really, just to make sure they can deal with the 60 megapixels, and I wasn't disappointed. You might have noticed on just a little video clip back there that it seemed to be hunting a little bit, and I don't know why it was doing that. I think I had it on spot, the really small spot, and I think it was possibly hitting the sky, so obviously if it hits the sky there's nothing to focus on, so I think that's what the little issue was there. But blown away by the detail. And you remember I've been using the A7R3 for 2 years, the A7R2 for 3 years before that, so I'm used to the 42 megapixel sensor, and I didn't think the extra megapixels would be that much obvious, but actually they seem to be. Everything just seems to be that much a bit more crisp, that much a little bit more detail. As you can see here, it's ridiculous cropping in on things that I probably couldn't quite see before, which just makes the pictures punch. The textures seem to jump out a bit more, on the dome there with the whitewash and the plaster and things seem to be just a bit more punchy. The detail in the distance just seemed to be a little bit more, I don't know, everything just seems that much better. I'm not trying to big the camera up, but for me everything just seems to be just awesome. This is from the 135G Master, from right up the top of the balcony looking down, so a couple of 100 feet away, and yeah, just everything just seems to be just tweaked, which is what I could say. Everything's just a little bit improved. This is ridiculous. So 14mm Samyang, cropped right in down the bottom there, and then I'm just zooming out. That's the detail you're dealing with, which is amazing, because that's about 80 or 90 feet down to the floor where that plaque is at the bottom. So I was quite blown away by that. That was quite crazy. Autofocus works absolutely blindingly fast. Even if you're doing the touchscreen on the back and then pointing out bits, really good. Dynamic range is awesome. Even if you're shooting into the sun, you just want to bring up the shadows a little bit, it works really nicely. And even through glass, which is dirty, and you can see the reflections on the left hand side here. Unfortunately I couldn't go outside because they shut the door and locked it, but the shadowing and just the way everything looks is just that much better. The colours, I think they're probably roughly the same as the A7R3, so no complaints there at all. But just with these two lenses, these are my two concerns. I was worried that the 14mm more than anything, because that's such a wide angle lens, it's obviously, the details not necessarily going to be in the image as well, because obviously it's so wide and everything's much smaller in the photo. And the 35mm, I had high hopes at being pretty good, but actually it's absolutely fine. Autofocus works really well on both of them, no troubles at all, and even shooting to the sun like this, no drama, no flaring, no nothing really, no real issues whatsoever. So really pleased so far, and I've only used the thing for about an hour, so far very pleased. I did notice I have to be a little bit more conscious on the lower shutter speeds, due to the massive amount of pixels, and obviously a little bit of movement can you can end up with a slightly blurred image. When I first started taking a few shots I did get a couple, but then I was just trying to get used to it. This is my first pixel shift image, so this is 16 images, and it's actually a 240 megapixel photo, and it's mad. The bit you've just seen as it zoomed out is the pixels of the printing on the can. So when you think, oh, it's not quite in focus anymore, you look at it, well, it actually is, but it's actually the pixels of the print on the labelling of the can, so it's just absolutely ridiculous. Really, I mean, I just put the camera on the table, set it up, and literally just pushed a 2-second timer, and then left the camera just to do itself, so we just didn't touch the table. So not the best shot in the world for this, but just to see exactly what it was, and it works really well, really quick. And even on the Edge program, obviously from Sony, when you put it back, it processed it very quick. I have got a fast, up-to-date PC, which obviously helps. So you do need a quite a fast, decent PC. But I've noticed it slowed down very slightly just on the file sizes. So anyway, guys, any questions about the camera at all? I'm still obviously getting used to it because I've only just played around with it so far. But it's really cool. Really love using it so far. Just getting used to it. The buttons, the ergonomics and everything are amazing. They really have improved everything. The A7R3 wasn't bad. My hands aren't huge, so it doesn't really bother me that the grip was slightly smaller. But this one's slightly bigger, obviously. But absolutely awesome bit of kit. Definitely worth the upgrade. If you need this kind of resolution, for me, I do. Because I do large scale printing and stuff like that as well. So I've got friends who've got large printing companies, so they're always up for and in need of very high resolution imagery. So that's good for me. Other than that, so far, absolutely awesome bit of camera. Like I say, the autofocus works amazingly. Noise control, I haven't tried it in the low light yet, but I will do. But shooting at ISO 100 down to the 50, it can do. And up to 400, it looks absolutely sweet. It's only when you pixel peep, when you start to look at the pixels, it's when people get carried away. In the real world, when do we actually look at that close at imagery? It's crazy. But anyway, guys, please subscribe, please get the notification bell, and like I say, ask questions, any comments if you've just bought one or any other, anything like that. Just let me know, and I'll see you soon.